Yo, you know what a cave looks like. Caves are huge. They are not small. But what if an entire civilization lived under a cave? Yo, the world's largest cave. It has a forest, river, and clouds inside.
Dawn, the largest cave on our planet. This cave is so massive that it has a completely self-sustained ecosystem with its own climate conditions. Hundreds of meters underground, the clouds you're used to seeing in the sky form inside this cave. Sondon even has an untouched prehistoric rainforest hidden far below the surface, and a vast underground river. From transparent fish to colorful monkeys, over 250 endemic plant and animal species live in this underground world. 7 new animal species were recently discovered here and are unique to this place. Stretching 9 kilometers in length, this cave holds
that'd be a W place to visit. Thoughts and opinions?
38.5 million cubic meters of space, and its passages are so enormous that a 40-story skyscraper could fit inside, and its giant stalagmites are rising like towers of ancient cities. Walking inside, it's impossible not to feel as small as a tiny bug. Can a rock move on its own? Sondon even contains phytokarst rocks, which move towards the sun like semi-living organisms. Rare cave pearls and many other unique formations are also found here. For 3 million years since its formation, the world had no idea about this cave's existence until it was fully explored in 2009 in Vietnam. Now, it's time for you to see the largest cave on Earth. Individual access is forbidden to protect both visitors and the fragile environment. This expedition is operated by Oxalis, the only authorized agency. To reach Sondong, we've trekked through the jungle for 9 hours, and now we must pass through N Cave, the world's 3rd largest cave. This cave serves as a gateway to the world's largest cave. It's crucial to be fully prepared for every possibility. So before setting out on this journey, we did deep online research about Sondong and its surrounding area to learn about everything that we would need to know. Now, we're heading towards the beach inside the cave. Over the centuries, water from nearby rivers gradually carved this place.
Y'all gotta admit, that's a nice place to look at, bro. That would be tough to go inside, bro.
The ceiling is 145 meters high, and the cave is 200 meters wide.
During the flooding season, much of this empty space is submerged underwater. You can understand from the basket over there, the water levels rise so much that it can carry objects up to that level.
With a breathtaking lake in front of us, it was impossible not to take a quick dip. At dusk, the sound of swift birds echoes in the cave. Because of their short and weak legs, these birds can't take off from the ground and must jump from a high place to fly.
So they're just running birds? Birds that only run?
If they are trapped on the ground, it means death is certain for these birds.
Oh, that's
this one was unlucky and waited to die.
At sunrise, we're ready for the journey to Sondong. If we call this cave a neighborhood, then Sondong is a massive city in comparison.
We will move to the darkness now.
I can't help but wonder what awaits us in Sondong. As we walk, dozens of crickets on the ground start jumping from side to side. The ground is covered with centuries of bat guano. Above us, countless bats hang in deep sleep, but some are awake and constantly defecating on us, so it's not a good idea to look up.
Gang, were you paying attention?
That's how my arm looks.
We pass by formations.
What? You are walking on slippery rocks. Wouldn't it be smart to be taking your time in all predicaments?
That look like travertine.
Are you good?
The limestone steps take us to the path that leads to Sondong.
Wow. The view here is amazing. You can see some water coming down from both sides.
N Cave welcomed us for a night deep in the jungle. Now, it's time to meet Sondong Cave.
Oh, is that
It's trying to come to me, you know? It's moving towards me. It knows what to leech on. Oh, it got too big.
Beneath the soil we walk on
Fudge, bro. I'm good. I ain't dealing with no leeches, bro. You're geeking.
lies the 450 million year old limestone formation, which began forming long before the existence of humans or
And
even
why are you only wearing socks and shoes? Why aren't you wearing boots? Or why didn't you just walk here in tennis shoes and then switch to the boots when you were going in what?
dinosaurs. This calcium-rich limestone is composed of shells and skeletons of ancient sea animals that sank to the ocean floor and gradually compressed over millions of years. However, since calcium dissolves easily in acid, acid rain slowly erodes limestone and forms caves over time. This is how the world's largest cave was formed, by rain dissolving limestone. A challenging final climb brings us down to the grand entrance of Shandong. As we move deeper, everyone's switching on their headlamps now. This path will lead us to the Hope and Vision Passage. In this 9-kilometer-long cave, there is so much to
ask how long is 5 kilometers. That's
explore. We might be the
5.5
first to record newly discovered animals.
This is the entrance of Shandong Cave. You can see those people look tiny at the entrance.
Even just a few steps in, we're surrounded by incredible cave formations. The water, rich in minerals, flows down from the ceilings or walls and builds these beautiful rimstone pools over time.
like a pastel
The
looking
very
color,
first
bro.
animal greeting us is a cricket. We are making our way
That
through
looks
the
like a
rocks.
spider.
Some stalagmites are sparkling in pure white because of the mineral type they're composed of.
Oh,
It looks like a
salt.
diamond.
Yes, it does.
Looks
There's a
salty.
huge stalactite in bronze color, resembling frozen waterfalls. The orange-brown hue suggests the presence of iron or other minerals mixed within the limestone. Some stalactites have actually broken off from the ceiling and
Bro, I
fell
gotta go to a stalactite gym. Wow, I was about to say gym. A location. That'd be so pretty, bro.
down to the ground.
That one in the middle is a fault line. It was formed because of tectonic movements of the Earth.
Shandong's enormous size is not just the result of water erosion, but also the fractures caused by tectonic movements, which created pathways for water to flow deeper.
There's a huge river in this part of the cave. If you fall, you can't swim. It's so fast.
Heavy rains feed many rivers here, and a large and fast river now flows through the cave.
How did this come to life?
I
We are
gotta lie, I'd
like
be scared
hundreds
on
of
that bridge,
meters
bro. That John don't look safe. No guardrails that look like a 1 foot. You know, it look like one of the things where like a tightrope. Look like a tightrope when you're walking on it, bro.
inside the cave. There's
I'd be
no
scared to
sunlight.
get on that.
Heavy floods can bring soil and plant stems into the cave. That's why we see a sprouted seed here.
Unfortunately, without sunlight, they won't survive for long. The flood also brought spores in, so now there are mushrooms growing here. The moisture and darkness are perfect for them.
Just yesterday, the water reached up to here. It carried a lot of mud with it.
It's so recent, as if the flood just happened here. Signs of the incident are still visible. We reached the Hope and Vision Passage. This is the largest part of the cave. I'm standing next to the tallest stalagmite in the world. It is 80 meters high.
It took an average of 800,000 years for these minerals to accumulate on the ground as water dripped from the ceiling and formed this massive stalagmite. The reason it got so huge is because it grew in a part of the cave where the ceiling is over 170 meters high and more than 130 meters wide. So this part of the cave is as large as a 40-story skyscraper could fit.
What does a 40-story skyscraper even look like? You know, I feel like it looks kind of small, but I really feel like it's because of like maybe the angles. I don't know. Or because when you look at it in comparison to people, it's dumb small. I genuinely wonder how this thing was like genuinely made. I think it was because of like rocks like degraded over time, something like that.
And even a double-decker
It
aircraft
had to
could
be
fly
something on
through.
that.
You can see the light coming from the first dolin very far ahead. That's where we are heading.
We spot cloudy-like white patches on the ground.
What is this?
A spider web.
When they sense vibrations of a trapped insect, the spider jumps out, bites the prey, and returns to the funnel to eat. These are sand towers. When water drips from above, the parts under the pebbles are protected while their surroundings
What the
erode.
fuzz? That
And
looks
in the
cool.
end, it forms these towers. It looks like a small metropolis.
If you carefully
looks
look
cool.
at it, there's a guy standing on the top of that rock.
Our teammate in the far distance is now standing on a stalagmite of 60 meters in length. We move 3 kilometers forward in the cave.
This is our camping site. Imagine sleeping here, looking at this view.
From here, you can partially see the first dew line.
That
It
looks
might
beautiful.
look like the cave's exit, but it's actually the first of 2 massive dew lines. And from here on, things will get more incredible. The temperature difference between the outside and the inside of the cave forms mist and clouds inside the cave. The area beyond them is called Watch Out for Dinosaurs. We will explore that place tomorrow.
Bro, this place looks prehistoric.
For now,
This is like something you would see in a sci-fi movie. Is that just me?
it's time to rest.
Now we are going to first dolin. This is the next day. There will be a lot of things that we will see today. Let's go.
We are crawling through narrow passages to get to the first
cave
dew
divers.
line.
A very narrow point.
These sticky threads are traps belonging to cave worms. They produce a blue-green light from their tail to attract flying insects to these sticky threads. Once an insect gets stuck, the larva pulls up the thread with its mouth and eats its prey.
This limestone is the oldest limestone in Southeast Asia. It is more than 400 million years old.
While some sea creatures become part of the limestone, others mineralized and ended up as fossils, like you see in this example. We'll get into the details of this fossil later. We're almost there.
That looks nice.
Wow,
bro.
it takes for water droplets to reach the ground for like 20 seconds from up there. What is the height of this wall?
It's around 140 meters.
Everything is huge here.
My God. You gotta get a drone
When you
shot,
look up,
bro.
you can see the trees of the rainforest surrounding the opening. But right now, we are meters below
like a
and
ravine.
still inside the cave. The reason why this hole exists is that hundreds of thousands of years ago, the river flowing inside Songdong eroded the limestone and weakened the roof. The roof couldn't hold up and collapsed, creating this giant hole above. So the light gave life to these algae and mosses.
In the afternoon, we'll go to Dolin number 2. It's very
pretty.
different. You'll see a real jungle there.
But first, let's see the first of the last two incredible formations
I ain't gonna
here.
lie, this is very pretty, bro. I wouldn't mind going there. The beginning part on that rainforest walk hike thing with them leeches, I don't really bang with that though. But this looks pretty. I like it.
This is also a stalagmite,
Oh
but it's
my
a different one.
gosh, bro. W portal.
It owes its unique layered shape to the waterfalls.
W freaking portal.
These are phytokarst formations. They are rare limestone formations shaped by the growth of algae, mosses, and microorganisms together with calcium carbonate. Since both biological and geological processes shape them, they're like partly a living and partly non-living. Here you can see the phytokarst formations moving toward the sun like a hand extending from the cave. Climbing 1 kilometer down and up
So, yeah,
in the
moving
dark,
up.
we finally reached our next destination.
This is the second dolin, much bigger than the first one. This looks amazing. All of a sudden, we are in a forest, in a cave. Look here, they're so dense.
The roof of the cave
Oh,
at this
that
point
pit paper
collapsed
goes
as a result of
crazy.
the intersection of two main faults, forming a dew line on the surface 252 meters above where we are. The collapsed cave roof allowed sunlight to enter, giving rise to an entirely new ecosystem. Despite extreme conditions, plants and animals have managed to adapt and turn this place into a unique underground rainforest.
As we move forward towards the
Honestly,
light,
I probably
the height
assume that those animals are probably like very weak because they have no natural predators.
of the plants grow. The soil makes it perfect to form a rainforest.
A large portion of the soil here consists of bat guano. It is accumulated for millions of years and is highly fertile.
The soil here is deep and full of small holes. There is an insect in each hole, and the insects are making traps in these holes to catch animals.
This jungle is huge. The biologists have found more than 200 species of plants and almost 60 species of animals living in this area.
There are some monkeys on trees. This might be the only cave where monkeys live.
Most primates typically
monkeys?
prefer trees as their habitat, and cave environments are not suitable for them. However, this extraordinary
That'd be
cave
gross.
has become a new living space for certain species. We came across a centipede. And snakes are living in this forest as well.
Sound of this forest
Venomous?
is calming.
Even the explorers who first came here in 2009 thought they'd found the exit for a moment.
Remember that we are in a cave. This cave has its own rainforest.
Oh my gosh,
All of these
it looks like you're outside. Oh my gosh. I would never assume that this is outdoors.
trees get thinner but taller to reach the sunlight coming from above. That's why all of them are very thin, but very tall
It was good,
compared to
Cody.
their width.
Certain
surprised?
trees reach heights of 40 to 50 meters. It's
What do you
because
mean?
the trees prioritize height to maximize sunlight absorption.
This is the remains of a snail. Monkeys catch these snails and break them with stones, then eat them.
As we move through the
gosh.
cave, we start coming across signs red-shinned dukes have left behind.
Whoa.
Look, So many snails. Most of them are broken and probably eaten by a monkey.
We kind of forget we're in the cave because it's so massive.
This is where we are going to camp tonight.
It's our fourth and final day in the cave. Today, we navigate through
Oh my gosh, he just turned 4 days into 16 minutes. Wow, that's a Mr. Beast type activity.
a water-filled passage before reaching the Great Wall of Vietnam. The stalagmites
this
here
is
look
Vietnam.
fascinating, almost like the work of a sculptor.
A pool of water surrounds this
God.
column and fish are swimming in it. These fish have no eyes as they have adapted to live in this total darkness. Instead, their other senses got stronger over time.
See how it doesn't give any reaction to the shadow of my hand or the movement?
It doesn't see anything. Like the fish, this cricket is completely blind. It doesn't see me. These super rare
That's
formations
scary.
are
That might
called
be scary because it's like I'm sitting there walking around in this darkness, and then there's you who's sitting there touching me randomly.
cave pearls. They are usually 1 centimeter in diameter, but here, since they are too old, some of them are as big as a tennis ball.
Just like real pearls, they form around a tiny nucleus, such as a grain of sand, with layers of minerals slowly building up over time. They need a few hundred years to be fully formed. As we push further into the cave, something unexpected catches our eyes.
What is that
These
animal?
are deer bones. They're estimated to be 500 years old. There is one
Deer
last
bones.
challenge ahead, an 80-meter high karst wall called the Great Wall of Vietnam. To reach there, we must also pass through a 600-meter long Passchendaele passage.
What the fuck?
The passage
Yo, what is that? Yo, Cody, appreciate you for the W, bro. I appreciate that. Yo, W, Cody, man.
is now filled with water and is turned into a
frick?
breathtaking jade green lake.
It's so high that
Oh
the
my
light
gosh,
does
yo,
not reach to
what
where
the frick? Yo, Cody.
top.
After the wall, the light from the exit is visible from 500 meters away.
We've explored the world's largest cave from one end to the other, yet on the fourth day of the exploration,
Yeah, I appreciate it
one
so much,
mystery
Cody.
still remains. Which ancient creature the fossil we saw
I've been good, boss. Yeah.
in Sondong belongs to? I'm opening
been
Opera
good.
browser and quickly navigating to the
Okay.
cave's web description AI, so which identifies the first both Web3 data or smart tools that appear drawn as a colony with tentacles. By the way,
Oh, I thought this was an ad. I'm so sorry.
Tab traces feature, as you can see here, help us see our recent visited tabs by darkening the underscore. The darker the underline, the more
I've been waiting for you to stream low key. Hey, man. If y'all enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Kid Absolute. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. BTL. Peace. Since you made it to the end of the video, you might as well pull up to the Twitch. We'd appreciate you because you a real one.